Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Bryan with another knife review for you. Today, we have the Kizer Vanguard Laconico Gemini. Very excited to review this knife. Why did I emphasize the word Vanguard? Well, Kizer has two different lines. They have their regular Kizer higher-end knives that you're looking in the, $150 to $300 range, and they have these Vanguard lines, which are in the $70, $80 range. This is the Vanguard version of one of Kizer's most famous knives, the Kizer Laconico Gemini, without the Vanguard word in there. That's like a $170 knife. This is $80. Currently, at this particular moment I'm recording this, which is December 13th, on Blade HQ, where they sent me this nice thing along with another Kizer that I got. Actually, these are all gone. But Blade HQ has them for $56 for this version and $109 for the full-on titanium frame lock flipper version with S35VN. That's a holiday sale. I only bring that up because I do have one of those coming, because I really think it'll be cool to compare side by side the Vanguard and the regular Kizer version. But right now, let's just focus on this $80 version, currently $56 on Blade HQ, but that's not going to last forever. So if you're watching this in a few months, because YouTube lives forever, yeah, they're about $80 on Amazon, so that's what they go for. Let's just look at this knife aesthetically. I think it looks pretty cool. It is not particularly inspiring. It's not like a flashy, cool-looking knife, but it's good. It's a handsome knife, as I like to call knives like this. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't have a lot of flash to it. One thing I do like about it, this has G10 scales, as I said. If you handed this to me and told me it was carbon fiber, it would take a couple minutes for me to figure out that it's not. I mean, it does look very carbon fibery. I don't know how they do that. I said that same thing about another Kizer. Where is it? I've got it on the desk over here. Another Kizer Vanguard. I said the same thing about the Vanguard Dukes, that it looked kind of carbon fibery. It's just a cool way they do their G10 to make it look kind of carbon fibery. I do really like that. As I said, it's a liner lock instead of a frame lock like the full-on titanium one is. All the shiny bits look good. I like the stonewash finish. I think that's very good. VG10 steel, as I said, which is perfectly fine at this price point. VG10 gets a bad rap a little bit. I don't really understand why. Not a bad rap, I guess, but a lot of people like it, but some people are just completely against it. I think it's great at this price range. I think it's good. It holds an edge well. It's super easy to sharpen. It's fine. I do love that Kizer does this. Other people have said this too, so I know. Oh, bump the tripod. Sorry. I know I'm not the only one. I like how they put the designer's name on the spine like that. I think that's really super cool. I just really, really like that. The blade centering is good. The lockup is pretty good. Yeah, it's really good, actually. We got like about 50% there. It's super easy to unlock. I like the blue G10 spacer. I know some people may not like that as much because it is maybe you think it should just be black, but I like the blue. I'm always a fan of blue. They also make this in a green G10 with a black spacer, I believe. I don't have that in front of me, but I think it's a black spacer. So, to each his own, whichever one you want. I'm not a fan of green knives. I don't know, just not my thing. It's a personal preference. Really good lanyard hole, straight tubed, well, not tubed through, but you have the space. It goes through the spacer, so as good as tubed. Yeah, I have no complaints about the quality or the aesthetics. It's just, it doesn't excite me aesthetically, but I don't really have any complaints about it. Let's get into full-on specs here. We're going to move this tag out of the way. All right. Try and line this up here properly. Remember, all these squares are 1 inch. We have an overall length of 7¼ inches. We have a blade length of 3.125. Blade thickness, we're looking at 0.09, which is pretty thin. That's a very, very thin blade. But the tip is, I wouldn't go prying on or anything, but the tip doesn't look particularly delicate to me. Maybe a little bit out towards the very edge, but not really. I love the blade shape on this thing. I really, really do. Full flat grind. As I said, the stonewash. Handle length, 4.125 inches, and a weight of 3.6 ounces, according to my scales, which is, it's not bad. It's maybe a little heavy for a knife this size, but I don't think so. I think that's about right. It's not a lightweight or anything, but it doesn't try to be. You're not looking at any, it's got full scales on it, which are milled out a little bit. So if that's picking that up, I always forget what my eyeballs are looking at, what the cameras are looking at. Yeah, so the scales are milled out, but yeah, that's a good weight. I have no problem with that. It is tip-up right-hand carry only. I said it is a manual flipper with riding on ball bearings, which, you can say that pretty much about pretty much all Kizers are going to be manual flippers riding on ball bearings. It's kind of what they do there, and they're very good at it. So I have no problems with that. Let's do some size comparisons here. Yeah, since I already had it out, the other Kizer Vanguard I have is your Kizer Vanguard Dukes, which is a bit more of a this is more of an EDC everyday purpose kind of blade. This is more of a gentleman's carry is what I would call it, or a small EDC blade. So it's a little smaller than that. And let's compare it to here. We show this one a lot. Kershaw Dividend M390, very similar there, very similar in blade length and in handle size. So if you have a Dividend, it's about that. It's much thicker handle. Oh, that's one stat I skipped. Let's go back to that. 0.43, so not crazy thick. Not crazy thick there. We'll talk about this more in the carry. So, that's one stat I always forget, guys. I apologize for that. I try to keep these videos real. I keep it real, guys. I only delete them when I say horribly foul words, and then I do another take, which it happens sometimes. Let's go on to another one. Your Spyderco Delica. Keep things consistent. Delica 4. That size. What else do we want to do? We're going to keep this brief because this is a knife I'm going to talk about quite a bit later on. So, have your steel wheel cut jack. I may actually do a comparison between these two. I think I might, because with this one on sale, I want to keep an eye out for if it stays on sale at $56. These are now getting pretty close in price range. Right now, this is still much more expensive than that. But if they do, I kind of want to think it'd be an interesting comparison. So I'm not guaranteeing it, but we'll see. It's your steel wheel cut jack mini. I should specify. I don't think I specified it was the mini. And let's compare it to one full-size knife, a very full-size knife, Spyderco Shaman. This is always at hand, so I can always grab that to show it. Now, let's move on to the blade. As I said, I'm very happy with the VG10. I think it's good in this price range. I have no problems with it at all. It is easy to sharpen. I really like the blade shape. Full flat grind, very thin. It's a very good slicer. I have no issues with that whatsoever. I like the shape of it. I do wish there was some jimping up here, but that's getting more into the ergonomics, which is coming up later. But the only thing I have to say about it is coming out of the box, it had a good edge. It had a very good edge, but it wasn't great. It wasn't like, Spyderco or Benchmade sharp. But it was pretty good. I'm eager. I like sharpening VG10. It's easy. I am eager to put a new edge on this, but I'm not going to because, as I said, I have the higher end one coming, so I want to keep the factory edge on it as much as I can. And in that vein, because I want to compare the two head-to-head, I didn't do a whole lot of cutting with it, and you're not going to see a cutting demonstration on here. I did cut some paper, did cut a little bit of cardboard, and it's great. It's really good. It's not razor sharp. It's not hair popping sharp out of the box, but it's pretty good. And if you just have even just a strop, it would probably get to be hair popping sharp very, very quick. So I do really like the blade, and I love the blade shape on this. I just really do. I like that drop point with you got a lot of flat edge, good amount of belly for other tasks. I really like the blade on this. I can see why people like the Gemini so much. That blade shape is superb. I really, really do like it. Ergonomics, also great. Another thing the Gemini gets raves about that I 100% agree with. This you can just squeeze the hell out of this, and there's no hot spots. This very small pocket clip doesn't give me anything. The G10 is just it's really grippy, but it's not crazy like uncomfortable. The little striations give you a little bit more. You have that good. The flipper is a good thing to push up against. I do, as I said, wish there was some jimping up here. I think that would be good for really fine tasks. But I used it for some fine tasks like this, and it was fine. But, you know, it's just me, because I'm a knife snob. I do wish there was a little jimping up there. The full Gemini doesn't have that either, so you're not missing out on anything there. I really like the ergonomics. I think it's really, really good. It's not as perfect as some of them that I've used, but it's really good. There's nothing to object to at all. It's easy to actuate the flipper. There's no problems there. It's yeah, I have no ergonomic complaints whatsoever with this knife. It's very good. I would put it pretty comparable to, and this is a knife I also gave very good ergonomic scores to the Cutjack. It's not quite as good as the Cutjack, because the Cutjack has the jimping and stuff and has that little ramp there. But the handle itself is, you know, just about as good as the Cutjack overall. So very happy with that. Now the carry is good, but with one caveat. So the carry was pretty good. It does fit in the pocket very well. You can see the way that the pocket clip is. This isn't really the flipper tab isn't going to be jabbing out into your stuff very much. I have no problems with the way it carries. It doesn't have a deep carry pocket clip, but it's okay. It's not sticking out a super ton, so I'm okay with that. I'm not going to have a fit about it. I know I normally do about deep carry pocket clips, but it's all right. Now the one caveat is that when I got it out of the box, it was really hard to get out of my pants, because this G10 is very grippy, and this pocket clip was a bit tight. I did bend the pocket clip a little bit. It took me 15 seconds, but yeah, I just bent it out a little bit, and now it's all right. And now it carries pretty good. Now I can get it out of my pants pretty good. But out of the box, this particular one, that pocket clip was tight, and this super grippy G10, it was a bit of a thing. It was a bit of an event getting it out of my pocket the first few times, but other than that, it carries in the pocket pretty well. Now the deployment, this is one thing. Now when I reviewed, let's step back a bit. When I reviewed the Vanguard Dukes, I raved about the deployment. I thought it was awesome, because it is awesome. Still think it's awesome. Still one of the best deploying knives that I have. It's still really, really good. And that's talking about, even I have one that has a reputation for being one of the best. I have a ZT-801, which is also great, but that Vanguard Dukes is damn near as good, if not as good. Actually, it's really good. So I guess I was kind of expecting the same thing out of the Vanguard Gemini, and it's just not quite there. It's good. It's very good. It's definitely very good. But it's just, I was expecting that bang, you know, that you get out of the Dukes, and you know, that might just be on me. The problem is, so I normally try not to tear knives apart before I do reviews, but I did tear this one apart, because I thought, oh, there's maybe my bearings are dry, which they were pretty dry when I tore it apart. So I lubed them up, you know, and it didn't really help a whole lot. Made it a bit quieter, but didn't really help with the deployment much. It's just the detent is just not enough. I'm getting it every single time now, but sometimes I don't. Now it's going to do it every single time just to make me look stupid. Here, but hold it vertical. This is where I really notice it. If I'm holding it vertical, yeah, it almost never pops all the way out. Where on the Dukes, no matter where you hold it, every single time pops out. So it's good. It's nothing to really have that big of a fit about, but it's not as good as I was hoping it would be. Again, much like how I feel about the steel wheel Cutjack Mini. Maybe I'm just a deployment snob, but running on ball bearings like that, I just expect it to be silky smooth, pop out every single time. But the detent just isn't quite there. So, what's my conclusion on this? I think it's a great knife. I really do. For that price range, if it's $80, it's a really good knife. If you can get it at the 56 that you can find it now, it's a steal. I would grab one. But I did have some flaws. I did have to modify it to make it as good as it is. I did have to loosen the pocket clip a little bit. I did have to lube the bearings. But, you know, VG10 and the really nice G10 scales, the ergonomics are great. I love the blade shape. I really, really do. I think it's a really good knife. I can't not recommend it. So I'll give it 1.5 thumbs up instead of 2 full thumbs up, just because I had to lube the bearings and fix that pocket clip. And I'm super stoked to see the full-on version when it gets here in the next couple days. So hope you guys have enjoyed this review, and you'll see a bit more of this because I'm going to do a comparison between this and the full-on Gemini. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I've been Bryan. Have a good one.